Hello everyone, welcome to Cycles of Life podcast. My name is Jana and I'm a life coach, I'm a meditation teacher and people professional. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. Welcome to episode 8 of Podmas. Can't believe I'm here already. I can't believe actually I have recorded 7 episodes already, and thank you so much to everyone who's been listening. It means so much to me, listening and also sharing with friends and family. I really appreciate that. You're the ones who keep me going, so thank you so much for that. So today I wanted to talk about something a bit more serious maybe. Well, serious, but also something that I think we should be talking about even more. It's mental health, especially during Christmas and festive times, because it can be so hard, and I think you'll agree with me. So today will be just a shorter episode. I will just share kind of my musings, what do I think about it, and what are the things maybe that we can do to make it a little bit better, maybe even things that we can be a bit more mindful about, again just to make it a little bit easier on us. So I think the biggest thing is really something that triggers me quite a lot. It's that inability to slow down when the pressure is on. So what I mean by that is that dreaded FOMO, the fear of missing out. When you see that people are doing all these things around you, you get invited maybe to things. It's just you feel there's so much to do, and there is so much to do because there's so much happening. So many restaurants, so many pubs, so many friends to see, so many theatres to visit, museums, etc. And it can be really hard to stay away from that and say no to things. And also I think these things are incredibly important because I don't know about you, but without these things, I find it sometimes really hard to get into the festive mood. So they're definitely essentials when it comes to feeling festive and really enjoying this season because it has so much good to offer too. But on the flip side, it can be too much. And of course, it will depend on us as people. Our energy levels will so different. So of course, we'll approach it very differently too. But I know for me, I know I talk about this a lot, but I'm very introverted. So actually, if I don't get enough of alone time, I start to spin out of control. I need that alone time. So actually, kind of this leads me to my next point, the importance of setting personal boundaries. So actually, how much time do you spend seeing friends and family? How many work parties do you attend? And another big one is actually here is around booze and drinking. I actually cut down dramatically on how much I've been drinking in the last 2 years. I didn't make an effort. It wasn't something that I was trying to do. It just naturally happened. So now actually, even just 2 drinks can really throw me out. I'll feel rubbish the next day. I don't feel great on a day. I have some issues with my stomach instantly. So it kind of leads to a lot of issues. So for me, actually, it's realising that this is part of my boundaries and just saying no to drinking when it feels unnecessary. And also just knowing, actually, it's not because I'm boring or I don't want to spend time with people. It's just saying that, actually, I just can't handle it anymore. I do not enjoy it. So I think that's quite a big shift, actually, that has happened. And again, just going back to kind of setting those personal boundaries is not feeling bad about it. Not feeling guilty about it. And not to go too life coachy here, but this all goes back to setting those, well not setting, but actually having those expectations of who we really are and trying to separate what are external expectations that maybe don't serve us, that maybe came from someone else, and what are the expectations that we really want to keep inside of us. What is something that we truly believe in, that we want to bring maybe more of, things that we believe that these things are us, this is who we truly are. And I know it might sound quite complicated, but the more you think about it, the more you see it. And again, one of the biggest tips I can give you here, if you kind of start paying attention to your thoughts, and if you feel that a lot in your head, you say, I should be doing this, or I must be doing this, or I have to do this, this is your first sign that these might be external expectations laid on top of you, something that you maybe internalized and taken on board as your own, but actually they might be coming from the outside, something that might not even longer serve you. So anytime that you feel like, oh, I should be doing this or I must be doing this, ask questions. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? Maybe someone in the past used to tell you that. So just trying to unpin this a little bit more. So yeah, I just think that's quite a helpful starting point anyway. And of course, another huge thing about that can affect our mental health is social media. Let's be honest. Scrolling and comparing to others, because that's where that FOMO tends to come from more than anywhere else. Seeing how beautifully others have decorated the houses, how much baking, festive baking they have done, all the beautiful cocktails that they make, and you feeling like, oh my God, I should be doing the same. You really shouldn't. Unless you really want to do this, unless this is something that brings you joy. So again, just setting boundaries in regards to social media, setting timers when you use it. I'm obviously an iPhone user, so on iPhone you can set limits. So my Instagram is set to 1 hour a day. So if I exceed it, I'm kind of graze out and I have to give myself a permission, basically, to use Instagram more than an hour. And some days I go over that hour by a lot, and sometimes not at all. I don't even reach that hour. But just having something that brings a little bit more mindfulness, it's almost like a little reminder, just tells you, oh, come on now, you've been scrolling for a long time, maybe stop. And actually, if it still brings you joy, continue doing that. But sometimes just having that stop actually just highlights how much time we might be spending on these, devices and social media in general. So whatever that is for you, just gently ask yourself a few questions. Is that really how you want to be spending your time? And if the answer is yes, fantastic. But if the answer is no, maybe we can change things around it. So yeah, I just think these are just simple things that can actually really help us. Another one is actually, I know I touched on booze and alcohol, but I think food is a huge part of that as well. And I'm no expert at all whatsoever. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Well, I do and I don't. I'm not an expert at all when it comes to food, but definitely just being a bit more mindful of what we consume and having too much sugar, too many carbs. Again, I know it's a very complicated topic, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But just being a bit mindful and actually, can I just eat a few clementines today instead of having another chocolate bar? Maybe that could make all the difference for you that day. So again, I think that from here actually comes the way that we look after ourselves, our well-being, of course, but it also affects our mental health quite a lot. So these are just a few topics that I really wanted to touch on and just kind of remind everyone that you are in charge, even though it feels like sometimes everything is out of your reach. You can still change things. You can still influence things around you. And then finally, I want to talk about something that might be a bit heavier and a bit harder for some of us. It's either having challenging relationships with family during festive times, or even for a lot of us, it will be going through loss and grief during festive time. So just a reminder here really that be gentle. You don't owe anyone anything. Set your own boundaries. If you need to leave early, leave early. If you need to retreat to a quiet room with a book to avoid having challenging conversations, you can do that. You absolutely can do that. Be firm. Explain how you feel, and if people are not ready to receive that, just remove yourself from that situation. It is absolutely fine. You don't have to be part of all the family festivities if they bring you very little joy. So yeah, just wanted to mention there, and same with grief and loss. It can be so hard going through these times now when the festivities just remind us of our loss. And some of you might know, actually, I've lost my mum a few years ago. It's not necessarily, we didn't really spend festive times together, so I don't find it's hard, to be honest. But I think the thing that I struggle with, actually, is I've really enjoyed buying presents. So it's not buying presents for her for some reason. It's something that I find quite challenging sometimes. And it's like, just makes me sad. I think it's understandable. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say here. Be gentle. Know you're not alone. Speak to people that you trust. They can help you when it comes to this. And just look after yourselves. That's all I wanted to say. And because you did things the certain way for the last decades, it doesn't mean that you have to do this the same way this year. You can create new traditions. You can create new ways of doing things. You can implement small little changes. Maybe adding a few more walks during festive period, even though the sky is grey, maybe it's raining, but still just getting yourself outside. That could make a lot of difference to our mental well-being. So yeah, a bit heavier topic this time, but I just think it's very important to talk about because a lot of us struggle, a lot of us find this festive time quite overwhelming, quite challenging to get through. And just wanted to let you know that you're not alone. There's a lot of us who are feeling the same way, so there's loads of positives, but there can be some negatives too. Nothing in life is ever white and black, so let's embrace those grey areas and make them as pleasant as we possibly can. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please share this episode with your friends and family. That means a lot to me. It just helps to grow the podcast. And follow me on Instagram if you're not yet. And also, please subscribe to my newsletter. I might be sending something quite exciting, well, for me anyway, in coming January. So I'm working on something that might be useful to a lot of people. So if you want to receive that, just make sure that you subscribe to my newsletter. So thank you all so much for listening. And I'm sure we'll chat very soon. Bye for now.